There is no doubt that we do have some very unique people in the TTRPG hobby. There is a minority of players that like to approach the game in a very different way than 99% of the players in the hobby. And in reality, even half of them don't really approach the game that way. Like in gameplay, they don't pull off what you'll hear them talking about out of the game. But there is a minority within that minority that do try to play the game in the way that they talk about. Alright, Condor, get to the point. Stop beating around the bush. What is this approach to the game that you speak of? Imagine that you are describing a scene that the characters are in, and suddenly a player speaks up and says, "Oh, you know that table that you mentioned? Well, there's a glass on that table." And my character grabs the glass and he smashes it over that guy's head. As a game master, at no point did you say that there was a glass on that table. Players that will make that move, they want that to be open all the time. Let's keep in mind that 99.9.9.9% of game masters will never encounter a player like that because the majority of players, 99.9.9.9% of players, will never do that in a TTRPG. Unless, within the game, it tells players to do exactly that. If the game doesn't tell a player to do that, most of them, 99.9.9.9% of them, will not do it ever. Now we run into another issue. Say you do make that popular in your game for your players to speak up. Well, there is the minority that want that, but even half of them don't really perform that way. They just talk that way, but then a small number of them will actually try that in game. We have another issue, which is a larger group, a group that's going to cause an issue with anything, including that. Don't get it wrong, the other group is a minority within the player base, but it is a larger minority. You make this popular, and they will outright abuse it, slowing down the game, stopping the game, and asking for impossible things. You say, only ask for something that is reasonable, and you can tell them that, and they still won't, and they'll constantly try to ask for more than they should, and they'll try to blow up the game, slow down the game, because now you have to stop every time. And, just to let you know, a big portion of the players that want this freedom, the players I'm talking about from the start of this video, they don't like the idea of asking too many questions and slowing the game down. Well, I gotta tell you, if you want to see the game get slowed down, get these problem players thinking that this is a popular move, and they'll slow down the game with every attempt they try. They'll blow everything up. Trust me, they will, and if you don't think they exist and they'll do this, you gotta get more experience in the hobby. Look, there's no doubt that a home group that played together, same friends for decades, they're fine. They can avoid a lot of issues. But the majority of us, will end up playing in open groups with strangers and things like this. So we have to run into issues. So we get to see it very clearly. And the more time you spend in the hobby doing that, oh wow, it gets worse and worse. But don't get it wrong. The problem players are not a majority. But they will blow games up, and they'll always be in the hobby. So how about this? Instead of you adding something to the scene, why don't you just become creative with what the game master has stated to you that is in the scene? Work on what you have to work with instead of trying to make something up, which only in the long run causes everything we're doing here issues that are unnecessary, and the majority of players will never try this. I think it's a waste of time. Let's just do what we do together and get it right and make the best out of what we have to work with. Anyway, for now, take care. You know what you can do? You can hit the like button. You can share the video. Oh, and there's another button you can press. That one that lets you subscribe to my channel for more content. Oh yeah, there's that bell thing. You can press that so you know when I've uploaded a new video right away.